Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm totally crooked here. Just a minute. Get myself all organized. Oh. Okay. Hello, Star. Hello, Mindy. Hello, Joan. Nice to see you. Get myself all focused here. All right. And okay. So, good afternoon. Welcome to Music Scrap, the Musical Scrapper. It is a beautiful, sunny day here on the east coast of Canada. Some clouds in the sky, but nothing threatening. Luckily, Tropical Storm Chris has gone south of us, but it's supposed to hit Newfoundland later today. But anyway, thanks, Joan. I was very happy with this painting. Just waiting for excuse me, just having trying to finish my cup of coffee here. Hi, Amy. Thanks, Mindy. So on Monday, my last stream, I finished this. I did this Shades of Blue painting. And so then off screen the other night, I did this painting. The prompt was simple things. And so I kind of thought, there's nothing more simple than a lovely glass of cold water. So I found this image. Thanks, Joan. Yeah, I loved this. Loved it. Thought it turned out nicely. And then the next prompt was playing games. These, of course, are the Doodlewash World Watercolor Month prompts. So playing games was the prompt number 7. And I remember when we went camping, my dad absolutely loved playing horseshoes with the guys. All the men went off to the horseshoe pits and off they'd go tossing horseshoes back and forth. And my dad just loved it. So that's what I painted. And then I had to do a blue sky in the next one, so I skipped the back of this one because I got some brown paint coming through, and I didn't want to do. So then the next thing was flying things. I think, hold on, I put the prompts here. There was a little piece of paper inside the front cover explaining what type of paper was in the book. So I just taped the prompts to it. Flying things. So after playing games was flying things. So I did this kite. Thanks, Joan. Hey, Kimberly. Where's Dr. Dot? She was so worried that I wasn't going to be on time, and I was only 1 minute late, and she's not here yet. The next prompt was climbing mountains. So I did this one. I love how this turned out. I love all my misty mountains in the distance. Okay, let me see. I'm going to try and zoom in a little wee bit more. There we go. Thank you, Kimberly. Thanks, Joan. Then the next one was light and luminance. So, of course, I had to paint the Northern Lights, or the Aurora Borealis, which I loved until I tried to add these clouds, because I had this weird line and bloom that developed here between the green and the purple. And because it was green and purple, there was a lot of yellow in this green. It kind of turned muddy. So the reference photo did have clouds, dark clouds in the sky, but I didn't do a very good job of adding the dark clouds. So I liked it before I put the clouds in, even with the ugly line bloom that happened. But anyway. Hey, Dr. Dot, there you are. About time. Oh, you couldn't get in. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, so there is the light and luminance one. So now it is time for, I've got some color here. Oh, just a minute. One moment, please. I forgot I ran for a quick trip to the Potty People, and I left darn it. So, one moment, please. Okay. back. Oh, yes. By the way, I got a new pen holder for my eye pen. Because the way this, I love this case. It's nice and rubbery, nice and sturdy. But the clasp here that holds the pencil, it's fairly tight, but I like to carry my iPad with me in my purse. And see, it snaps in there fairly tightly, but I would find it getting loose, and I was worried that at some point, without noticing, it would fall out and I would lose my pen. And of course, this one's green instead of teal, so that's even better. So it just wraps around the case and goes in like that. So I bought that. All right, so let's see here. The next prompt after light and luminous, I'm going to change my iPad here so it stays open. It doesn't keep closing, going dark on me while I'm trying to paint. So the next one, oh yes, is Beautiful Blooms. So I have a photo from a fellow artist, Felicia, who I requested to paint and use, and she said yes. So I will do a picture-in-picture here for you guys. And yes, I should have had this set up, but I didn't. So there you go. And this one. Ooh, sorry, made the wrong thing there. All right. All right. Hey, Helen. Okay, so I think what I need to do is get a piece of, well, you use tracing paper, but I'm just going to use a piece of, and then I'm just going to give a light trace where the purple comes to. Then there's a second flower in behind it. And then the yellow is right here. Just a second, there's just a detail here that I didn't see. Okay. All right. So, oops. So I'm going to set that beside me. And I'm going to just tear this off. All right. Turn it over. I'm going to trace over it darker just so that I didn't want to press hard on my iPad, which is why I did it lightly the first time. But now what's going on? Something weird. Oh, that's because it's upside down. Oh my gosh. No wonder I couldn't make sense of it. I had the piece of paper upside down. Oh, gosh darn. All right. I just want to be able to see where my lines are when I go on to the other side to give myself some and yes, I do have transfer paper, but this is just as easy right at the moment. If you don't have transfer paper, this is what you can do. Oh, and I best I guess I better okay, where's my paper towel? I don't know, so what the heck did I do with my paper towel? Uh-oh. Oh, well. What did I do with my paper towel? I'm going to need it today. I had it last night. Oh, there. Ooh, only have a couple sheets left. Gonna have to get in a roll there. Okie dokie. Hello, CB. No, Jillian, I'm not ready to do my marbles yet. So, yes, while I'm tracing, I will talk about this art contest. In the county where I grew up in a small town called Westville, but the largest town in the county is called Glasgow, which is right next door to Westville. It's where we went shopping. It's where the hospital is. Basically, when you drive down the street I live in, you go out of Westville, and there's a small community that you basically drive right into New Glasgow town limits. Anyway, in New Glasgow lived this beautiful lady named Viola Desmond. And she was a person of color who lived during the early 1900s, well, mid 1900s. And of course, in Canada, our I don't know if you want to call it issues, are problems with color. We're not quite as, we didn't have crosses being burned on property. We didn't have churches being, firebombed and stuff like that. But of course, prejudice is everywhere. And although it was illegal in Canada to, post signs of segregation and whatever, the owners of this theater, the Roseland Theater was called, I believe, at the time, made it known that blacks were to sit in the balcony, not down below in the main theater. And Viola Desmond went to the theater one night to see a movie, and she decided she was going to sit where she wanted to and chose her seat in the regular downstairs seating area. And the owners took great offense to this and tried to make her move up above into the balcony, and she refused to move. And this was her first protest. So I consider her actually was Canada's Rosa Parks. And she is also now the first lady besides the Queen to be on paper money. She is on the $10 bill. Right now, it's only available through the mint, but it will be go into circulation in the next round of new bills. So this theater was slated to be torn down. And a local lawyer, actually the lawyer my niece worked for at one point, I didn't trace the leaves, but that's okay. I'm just going to draw them in. Stepped in. He also owns this lawyer, local lawyer, has a huge law firm actually, and he also is a real estate entrepreneur, and he has saved a lot of the old buildings in New Glasgow, and he has turned some into affordable apartment housing. He decided to save the theater from demolition, fixed all the brickwork outside. It is now going to be a business center, so it's got offices and things like that. And they're having an art contest. With $20,000 in prizes. And, of course, Viola Desmond did go on to lead other protests in the province, in Halifax and area. And so they want some artwork for the, I mean, there's not really a theme, but they are looking for artwork that kind of represents Viola's protest that began there in that theater, in that building. So I am going to do a watercolor, and it's going to be a combination of two photos. Actually, I will show you here on my iPad. So I'm going to do a combination of this photo and this photo. But I'm going to do all but one of the marbles blue. And they won't be exactly the same blue. There'll be differences, but they'll all be blue except for one marble, which I'm going to make orange, just like this one. And so I'm going to have just the orange in the ray of light, and I'm going to have blues around it. Plus I'll have all blue marbles in the jar. And of course, the meaning of that being that no matter the color, marbles are still marbles. Just as no matter the color, humans are humans. So that's going to be my artwork that I'm going to do. I think they're choosing 8 pieces of art that are going to be on permanent display in the building, and they're going to enlarge them and put them on in huge posters outside the building as well. So, hey, Jamie, nice to see you. I saw the pores, Jamie. Nice to see you. So anyway, so that is my plan. I need to get it drawn. I'm going to start it tonight and get it painted. And then I need to send it off to New Glasgow. So going to start on the background of this. All right. Let's get some things spritzed here. Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks, Judy. Well, today I'm just painting a pansy. I'm not starting the marbles yet on this stream. We'll see how much time I have at the end. I can't remember who comes on after me today, but we'll see. I don't know. Thursday's often I go out for supper with my cousin, so it just depends on whether she plans on going, whether we go or not. All right. All right, so starting in on the background, I've got some purple coming in from my other page, but that's okay. This is just my journal after all, right? I even tried to put tape around it and I still messed it up. So I'm not going to bother taping this one because I taped it and I still messed up. So no point in going to the work of taping if it's still going to get if I'm still going to mess it up. So anyway. So I want to get some good wet. This is my Kilimanjaro. I have no idea where I got this. I looked on Amazon. I didn't get it on Amazon. I'm thinking if someone sent it to me, or I don't know, maybe I ordered it from Dessert. Well, I looked in Desserts and they didn't have it. I don't know. Maybe someone sent it to me. I don't even remember. I just, no, I'm pretty sure I bought it somewhere because I saw Steve from Mind of Watercolor talk about how it was decent, good paper. And it's 100% cotton. And I remember, so no idea where I ordered it from. I don't know, maybe it was Curry's I ordered it from. I don't know. So I have some yellow and my permanent light green here that I'm going to do the background in the light green. It's left over from yesterday, so I think it's toned down with a little bit of yellow and a little bit of, I'm not sure, but what I'm going to do is put in a light wash here like this. Then I'm going to go in with add some sap green to that, and add in just some random shapes and let it kind of bleed and blend. Go back in with some of the light again and let them kind of bleed into each other. Just going to add another layer of this light here so that try and keep it wet here. Go in with some dark So now I'm going to dry that. Hey, Debbie. Hello, Ian. Hello, hello, welcome. Anyone else come in while I was working on the background here? Heat gun. So this prompt is number 11, which is fancy blooms or pretty blooms or something like that. And so this photo that I'm drawing right here was on Facebook by another art friend of mine who has lovely flowers in her garden, Felicia. Mouse Potato Designs, I believe. And hi, Mary. These are my M-gram watercolors. And they're on, journal has 100% cotton Kilimanjaro paper in it. 140 pounds, 300 GMS. Hi, Leanne. Nice to see you. I want to get this completely dry, which takes a while because it is 100% cotton. Because I don't want my leaves to feather when I paint those. While I'm doing that, I am going to mix just a little bit more dark, and I need to mix a little bit more of my light green as well. While I'm drawing, as well make use of my time here. So I have my M-grams out in my Magello palette. Because I love the larger wells. I really do not like working from. And I bought, I did purchase the Payne's Gray. I usually mix my Payne's Gray. You can mix Payne's Gray using burnt umber and ultramarine. But I thought I'd just help myself along and purchase the Payne's Gray. So I did. I also added some Winsor & Newton Opera Rose into my palette. Don't use it very often, but I used it for the I used the Opera Rose for the pink area here in my Northern Lights picture. So that's still wet a little on the edges, but that's okay because it's the edge. So before I do the dark, in order to help give my leaves a nice glow, I'm going to use the Permanent Green Light. I believe it's that. Oh, just a moment. I'm going to open a file here because I think that's wrong. I need to open my file that has my palette thing because I accidentally left my palette map home on my sister's kitchen table, I think. Oh, the Kilimanjaro? Really? Only on Cheap Joe's website. Oh, I remember where I got this now. Oh, bad me. I'm sorry, Darren. Darren brought me this Kilimanjaro. That's where she would have gotten it in. I'm glad you asked me because Darren travels between Nova Scotia and North Carolina, and she picked up some stuff for me one time on the way home. She gifted me, isn't this lovely? She gifted me this lovely Kremer set of paints, full pans, no less. And this Kilimanjaro. That's where, yes. And I bet she bought it at Cheap Joe's. Okay, just a moment. I have to open this file. Okay. Well, I don't have it written. That chart only has the original. Well, dang it all. Anyway, I think it's permanent green light. So, I'm going to do a layer of this before I do it just will give your leaves some nice glow to have this kind of this lovely light green underneath sap green. Oh, a little too much. Wet my brush a little bit and kind of spread that a little better. Oh, all right. And I'm going to go to a smaller brush. My number 4 Silver Black Velvet. All right. I'm not very good at doing flowers and blooms, and it's not really my thing, but I shall try my best here. Going back in with just a little bit of light, of the light green, to kind of pop up that a little bit. Now I'm going to take some of the dark green and just mixing a little bit of purple that I'm going to use in with it. Just to get a little darker color for my edge here. Trying to do it while it's still wet so it kind of bleeds on its own. Just trying to get a little texture. The picture doesn't really show a lot of vein work on the leaves, so I'm just going to kind of leave them like that. Oh, yay, Jillian. Woohoo! Good for you. All right, now I wonder if I can get the other leaves to look that good. Geesh, probably not. Probably first time lucky. This one is has more dark to it because it's kind of further back into the shade. I watched Ian's video last night when I was trying to fall asleep on a flower that he painted. And then go into this darker that I have created with, oh no, a little too much, Jean. Take it easy. Still getting used to how much paint these silver black velvets pick up. They pick up a lot of paint. They're really nice. Just have to get used to it. There, I like that. Okay, since this one's a little more dry, I'm going to put some of the light there. So it'll still be wet when I get to it with the dark green, sap green. Now, often when I work with the sap green, I will add just a hint of burnt umber to it to kind of neutralize it a little bit. But these leaves are really quite green, so this seems to be the correct color, and I'm sort of neutralizing it with the darker green with the purple instead of with the burnt umber, because I'm going to be using the purple in the center of the flower. So I'm basically adding a color, neutralizing it with a color that's going to be in the painting. And I'm not using burnt umber anywhere in this painting, so I'm not going to use it to neutralize my green. Welcome back, Jamie. Okay. Oops. Need to mix a little bit more. I always mix with my Zen, simply because I'm more comfortable with how much paint they pick up. So I kind of know what I need to get the color I want. By the way, it's dioxazine purple that I'm darkening my sap green with. Spritz a little water in that light green well. Okay. Okay, same thing with this leaf. It's kind of dried, so I am going to just add another layer of light into the center so it's dark, so it's still wet when the dark gets to it. Oops. I have no idea whether these are really the correct shape or not. I'm just kind of giving essence of, and I'm going to do just a little bit of really dark here to show that this leaf is behind that one. Or try to. Didn't work very well. Let's try that again. Sorry, I'm just tipping my book here, so I hope I'm kind of somewhat in camera. I apologize. All right, now this one is very bright, so I'm actually going to do a layer on top of that light green of the lemon yellow. Well, it's azo yellow, but also known. Other companies call it lemon yellow. Excuse me, M. Graham calls it azo. And since there's already a nice green layer underneath there, it is going to come out like a nice limey green. And this one has a more distinct vein down the middle here. Oops, a little more. Trying not to put too much paint down, and then I didn't have any in my brush. Hi, Allie. Hi, Monique. Hi, Paul. Paul, I don't know. You really like putting your life at risk, don't you? He's so funny. I haven't even met Paul, but I just know he's a hoot. One more leaf here. Oh, well, kind of two, but start with the larger one. Once again, it's dry, so I'm just going to put some of the light down to wet that center area. I could have used just water, but it needs more color anyway, so you may as well use the green. Going in with my darkest that has the little bit of dioxazine purple in it. You have to be very careful when you're doing any mixing with dioxazine purple because it is extremely strong. It will take over your mixture easily. All right, Joan. Bye. Okay. Enjoy your whirlpool. I don't know. Sounds fun to me. Sounds more fun than watching me, that's for sure. Okay. All right. So now, of course, I'm going to do the purple. And I'm really going to, before I do, I'm going to take away some of the although the purple's going to be dark, I really don't want the there. Okay, Jillian. All right, so now this purple has really nice spidery kind of spiders into the white. So what I am going to do is very carefully, and I think I might do it one at a time here for now, is I'm going to obviously wet down past, just a little past my pencil line. And then I'm going to take my dioxazine purple. It should be the perfect color, I hope. And I think I need to mix more here. Oh, hold on. I don't know why it's just a second. I must have had something mixed in with it. Hold on. I gotta mix more. See if I can get it pure. I think I had some burnt umber in with it for my other painting. So I'm trying to get it to feather out here. On its own. So I'm going to go in with some clear water and just, I'm not going to touch the purple. Should still be wet enough to feather out some, I hope. If not, I will pull it out with the paintbrush. But it may have dried on me too a little bit. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. Gosh darn it. I should have put more wet down before I put the paint down. Okay, I'm going to wet this here. Add a little more paint, see what happens. Okay, getting a little bit of the look. All right, the next one will go better because I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I am ready. I think I need to use my next size up. I think that will help. That'll be my practice pedal. Started out okay, and then it like stops. And then it fills in too much. Oh, gosh. It's all right. Let's see. All right. So I've actually been able to turn the air conditioner off this morning and give it a bit of a break. Our humidity seems to have calmed down some, substantially. So that is good for now anyway. Oops. Let me see. I'm going to go in with my... Going to need to do another layer of purple anyway, so maybe I'll be able to get... All right, bye, Jamie. Thanks for dropping in. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try with my Zen watercolor here and see what I get. Okay. Oops. I'm sorry if I'm... Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm off camera. I apologize. Just a second. Let me see if I can fix it a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. I apologize. All right. So I'm going to dry this so I can do my other layer. And I'm going to have to purposefully get the little spiky purple lines in it because it looks like the purple's just not going to do exactly what I want. So, hello, is everybody still there? Hello? Or is everyone just busy doing something? All right, good. All right, thank you, Allie and CB. Just like to check every now and then. I know people are probably just working on their own thing, but Sometimes it just seems like, no one's here. All right. So I'm going to go in with my smallest silver that I have, which is 4, but a very nice point. And I'm going to I may have to do it actually with my liner brush. So I'm just going in with my liner and doing the little spiky things, and then I'll go in with some more purple. Go back in with my number 4 and just do a little fill in here. Okay, my rigger. Now they're going down too far. Oh, just nothing's going right for me. See, I should never attempt flowers because I just can't do it. I'm no good at it. Okay, no problem, you guys. Thanks, Debbie. You know me. Never happy. And back to my number 4 to add my second layer of color here. All right. I'm going to leave it because otherwise I'm going to mess it up, make it worse. Again. Oops, sorry. I know, Debbie. It's true, isn't it? It is so true, but you know, that's how you get better. Now the trick's going to be to mix up my very, very light gray to use on the white to bring the white to life. Which I will use my ultramarine blue and my burnt sienna for my gray and to make it very watery so it's very light. But first, oh, sorry, one of my lights just went off. My external battery went dead, so my ring light went off. Okay. Oh, I ended up with a bloom there on that leaf. Oh, well. If I try and fix it, I'll just make it worse. So I shall leave it. All right. So center. And I'm going to need my detail brush for this. And I'm going to use some lemon yellow, but I need to mix in a little bit of my, hold on just a second. Yes, my Azo yellow or Aurelian, which is what, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of the, what is the golden yellow? I can't remember what it's called. I need to make another thing because I left I'm just going to warm it up a little bit with my, warm yellow, but I also need to wet it first, and I don't want to touch the purple. So put in the yellow. I guess I didn't really need that tiny one. I can use my There we go. Number 4. But then I need to just drop in a tiny bit of my light green up here and just let it blend. And dry that. Hi, Sophia. And I need to add just a little bit more of the cleanest brush so I don't forget when I go and just going to take that little detail brush, teeny tiny detail brush. It's like a triple or quadruple 0 or something. 000. And I'm going to go straight in with some of that nice golden yellow. To define this bottom edge here. Green took over a little too much, so this yellow is a little bit opaque, so it will help fix that. Cover over some of that too much green. There we go. Alrighty, let's dry that, and I'm gonna leave it be. Now to mix the gray. Actually, I think what I'm going to do to mix the gray is to add some white to my Payne's gray and see if that, or I should say, add some gray to my Payne's gray to my white. I'm going to clean out a Now these wonderful ceramic dishes I got at Dollarama. They were $2 each, I think, and they're like, I think they're like for deviled eggs or something, or for condiments. I don't know what they were in the aisle where the dishes were. And they're perfect. They're ceramic. They're nicely glazed. And they stack on top of each other. So if I have more than one going, they still only take up that one space on my desk. All right, so I'm going to take some white. I know, technically you're not supposed to do this with watercolor, but I want to try it. I want to see what happens. So I'm going to take, and this is actually, I'm using the Shinhan white titanium. I have it in my palette, as well as the M-gram titanium white, but I find this opaque, so I'm going to try the Shinhan and see. More water. I need more white. I'm going to need a fair amount of water because this can have barely any color at all. All right, so now I'm just going to barely touch. I'm going to have to be careful because my Payne's Gray I just put in last night, so it's probably still wet. So I'm going to, nah, it should be okay, I think. All right. It seems to be dried, so I can spritz it. I'm going to put it up there simply because I don't want to start out with too much in the white. Okay. So it's giving me a really nice light blue. So I think I'm going to like that. So I'm just going to use my number 4 because it goes into a very nice, I'm going to turn this upside down because I'm going to start where the 2 flowers meet. Perfect. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker mix that I'm just kind of mixing up here on the top of my thing with a little extra Payne's Gray to get the area between the petals there. I think I need to fix some of this with some green because it's not shaped right. So I'm just going to faux in some background here. Make sure there's no water droplets on your ferrule. Now I'm just going in here to extend these petal creases here from where they're purple into the white. I don't know if you guys can really see. Oh, it's looking more pinkish, but it's not. It is gray. I ended up down too far here, but anyway. All right. Now, the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take just a little bit of that Payne's Gray and some white, a little bit darker though. And I'm just going to do a little shading around the edge here. So because it's transparent, it should still kind of show green. Just to make it stand out a little bit from the background. Thanks, Di. Hello, Diane. Nice to see you. Thank you, Sophia. Oh, yeah, much better. I really am glad I found some ceramic ones. I still have my little flower one that I use when I'm making smaller, smaller washes and whatever. I almost think that I've got so much white here that I almost need to add a little purple, even though it isn't there in the picture, but I'm scared I'll mess it up if I do. So I think I'm going to just leave it. So this side, because there aren't really technically any leaves painted on this side, I just added a bit of a shadow there. So I think I am going to leave it and call this done. I'm just going to take out the heat gun to make sure it's dry before I go on to my next prompt. Sometimes you just got to know when you're done. Heat gun. Yeah, that's what this is. I think it was for like deviled eggs or something. Because there's 6 slots, so can't beat $2 for a nice ceramic palette. I bought 2 of them. Gives me 12, and I rarely use more than 6 colors anyway at a time. So for now, the 2 are working. Okay. So on here, I put prompt 11. So now I can do today's prompt. I'm caught up. Yay! Prompt 11. Okay, so for those who came in late, let's review what I've done so far. My 11. So this is a Kilimanjaro 100% cotton. And I really do like it, Ian. So I don't know, maybe Cheap Joe's, maybe it is a Cheap Joe's brand. Could be, since that's the only place you seem to have found them. And it was brought back to me. So I've printed off the World Watercolor, and there was a little insert here that just talked about what the type of paper is. So Sunny Days was prompt 1. Just a moment. Let me center my picture here a little bit. And let me go back to that. So prompt number 1, Sunny Days. And I didn't have a reference photo for this. I just started painting. And this came from the page after. That's what I get for painting back to back. But I don't know. It's a journal. I hate wasting paper when it's thick enough to do paint on the outside. Number 2 was Delicious Food. So, of course, being on the east coast of Canada, where you have the best lobster ever. Our cold Atlantic water seems to be the best thing for producing yummy lobster. I'm just pouring a little wee bit more at the end of my coffee here. Oh, just a mouthful. So I'm going to add my mug warmer. Well, I'm going to do today's prompt, Debbie, so yes, I will be caught up. Prompt 3 was, hold on, it's pretty bad. Oh yeah, primary colors. Primary colors, so I used my alizarin crimson, I used cerulean blue, and I used sap green. No, I didn't use sap green. Duh, Jean. I used cerulean lemon yellow. So lemon yellow, alizarin crimson, and cerulean blue is what I used. Oh, thank you, Debbie. So if you guys are in the States, this Kilimanjaro watercolor paper, I really like it. I really, really like it. And I may have to order a journal. I'm not fond of the 5.5 by 8. I would have preferred it maybe 7 by 9 or something rather. This is a little longer, short, little wider landscape than I like. But so it's listed as Cheap Joe's house brand. Well, it is a very lovely, lovely house brand watercolor paper. Let me just say, it is lovely paper. 100% cotton, 140 pound. It is lovely paper. Probably quite affordable since it's their house brand. The next one was Family Times. And of course, in the summers, we camped. So I tried to... I don't mind this part of my drawing. I'm not great. Just tried to put the back end of a motorhome in there, and that didn't turn out well. Campfire didn't turn out great. But anyway, ignoring this, I like the rest of the page. Oh, and he does acrylic abstracts. Oh, really? Hey, Katrina. Yeah, Ian, they probably do. Yeah. Cool. Well, it's definitely very nice paper. Shades of Blue. I did this on my stream the other day. My poor lopsided vase. Yeah, this side didn't turn out so well. But anyway, whatever, you know. Gotta be, I find I have to pick on something about my paintings because, you know, Although this one I don't have much, except for whatever smudged here. I don't have much. I'm really, really, really happy with how this turned out. The prompt was simple things. And so I figured there's nothing more simple than a nice glass of cold water. So they're pouring water. So, of course, the water is bubbling and it's swirling as it's being poured. I really love how it turned out. Thanks, Sophia. And I did, Debbie, I did go watch Sandy Allnock's video on Instagram. Yeah. And it did seem like she used exactly the same reference. She used a little more on the teal side instead of the green side. Yeah. Thanks, Allie. Bye, Mary. Thanks, Sophia. I know, isn't it? When I'm so bad at doing flowers and stuff, yet somehow I seem to be able to do this one. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I didn't quite get the dips and stuff in the sand that I wanted to. I did a layer of light burnt umber. First of all, let it dry. Then I wet the whole thing again, did another layer of really wet burnt umber, put on some salt, let it dry on its own, and that gave me the texture. And then I used some grayed down burnt umber, grayed down a little bit with the ultramarine blue, which is how I got the gray for these horseshoes, to try and get some dark divots, and then added some light above it to try and lift. But yeah, so I'm fairly happy with how this turned out. My dad, of course, loved playing games was the prompt. And when we went camping, my dad loved playing horseshoes with the guys. So cool, Debbie. I'll have to check them out. I do follow her on YouTube, but of course I don't always. On YouTube, she usually posts cards, so I don't always get a chance to watch everybody with their card making and stuff. So, yeah. And then the next prompt 8, was flying things. So I did this kite. Okay, Debbie. I will keep an eye. I follow her now on Instagram. So, and then 9, I love how this one turned out. Was 9, prompt 9 was climbing mountains, something I would never do. But anyway, I love the painting. My nice misty mountains in the distance. Of course, these did have reference photos, so. And light and illuminance. Oh, I need to put on prompt 10. I'm going to get my white gel pen out again. Prompt 10. And I liked this before I tried adding these silly dark clouds. There were some clouds in the reference photo, but they were in a different spot and a little smaller. But I kind of had a bloom that developed here between the green and the purple and the pink. So I tried to hide it, and yeah, not very happy with the clouds. But thanks, Kimberly. I didn't get them puffy enough, but I didn't want to mess with it too much and end up leaving more blooms than I had in the first place. So, yeah, not totally happy with the clouds, but other than that, I do like how that turned out. That was my first attempt at the Northern Lights. So, and then, of course, this one that I just finished, which is prompt 11. So, prompt 12. Here we go. let's put this in. And this Himalayan book, the cool thing that they do is in between each page of watercolor, they have sketch paper. It's a very smooth, almost waxy, very, very smooth drawing paper. So you can sketch if you want. But I don't sketch. I don't do thumbnail sketches or anything. Probably might be better if I did. But anyway, that's just not me. I just go for it. Okay, so, oh, right. This prompt is forest animals. So I had thought at one point I would do a deer. Yeah, and then I was like, ugh. So I chose this bird. No idea what kind of bird it is, but I loved the colors of this bird. So I just thought I would do this bird. Oh, thanks, Dot. Not bad. I never do well with flowers and plants, so it turned out not too badly. Okay, so this is going to be fun because, yeah, you know me and animals. I don't do that well. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time with the flower. No, don't do that, Jean. Hold on. If anyone knows what kind of bird this is, you can tell me. I have not a clue. I'm drawing it because it had very interesting colors. Now I can't trace right onto my paper because I've got art. Oh no, I don't in this case, do I? I probably can't see through it though because it's 140-pound paper. So even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't see through the. Oh, come on. Come back to Mama. Sorry. I'm trying not to press too hard because I don't want to ruin my iPad or anything. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Not always easy to trace. What did I do? Ah, that's just going to have to be close enough, I think. Woo! All right. And I think this time I am going to grab a piece of okay. Just has the little claw there and then the big claw. And same thing on this side. Okay. Alrighty. I don't know what I was seeing here, but there's nothing there like that. Okay. All right. So let's grab a cedar waxwing. Cool. Thank you, CB. CB says, look, it looks like a cedar waxwing. There was no name on it on the picture, so. A moment till I, excuse me, find my, okay. I'm just going to attach that there so it stays close to a good spot here. And by the time I'm finished painting it, it may no longer look like a cedar wax, whatever it is that CB said. We shall see. I'm just going to do a little bit of the angle. I will draw that in later. So one of the reasons I chose this was it seemed like a fairly simple drawing with some interesting feather colors. The orange going into the green. So, cedar waxwing. I can see CB now wondering, walking around the neighborhood with her binoculars, looking for that rare bird to write in her little book. And of course I pressed way too hard, but my lovely kneaded eraser will come to the rescue to lighten up the lines. that part's black, so it's not as much of an issue. Okay, so let's finish up drawing this branch that he's sitting on. And then there's another branch in the background going right down here. And another one in the kind of near background right here. And then the rest are, there's some near leaves, which I'm not going to draw in. So the background here is kind of like a dull sky, just like white or almost pinkish as if it's maybe nighttime. But I think I'm going to do some blue to have some blue sky in the background. So I'm going to wet the whole thing. Oh, not with that brush, Jean. Take forever. So I'm going to wet everything except the bird and the main branch. Although the main branch doesn't matter if a little blue gets on it because it's going to be darker anyway. So this kind of needs to be wet twice. So I'm going to wet it once and let it soak in. Then I am going to mix my blue. I'm going to do a mixture of cerulean and ultramarine for the background so that I can use ultramarine to make my black without it seeming to come out of nowhere. So just those main branches that are not, there are some branches in the background that are fuzzy, which I will do, but the first layer is going to be blue for my sky. Then I'll go around and then I'll dry it, wet the whole thing again, start adding branches, fuzzy branches and leaves in the background. And then as you come forward, next layers, you start getting more details. All right, so I need to clean up my palette. I'm going to leave the greens because I need those greens, obviously. So, oh, gosh darn it. Just using a baby wipe. If I wasn't filming, I'd just go and under the tap, but Baby wipe does the trick. All right, so all right, so I'm going to need my orange, but my permanent orange, my Azo orange is very orange. So I will be, the bird is more of a like burnt orange color. So I will add a little burnt umber to my Azo orange to neutralize it a little bit. And please remember, I am learning, so this is how I mix my colors. Other painters may not, but these are the colors I found that I like. Once again, I'm using my M. Graham watercolors in my Kilimanjaro. All right, so Azo orange. Oops, I need this palette again here. So I'm going to need orange. I'm going to need my 2 of my blues. I need my light green, my dark green. I'm going to need my Azo orange and burnt umber. So this time, since I'm using my burnt umber with my Azo orange, I will be using burnt umber with my, with my blue to make my darks, my grays and my darks. Okay, so, all right. So, orange. And I'm not going to need a whole bunch of it because it's just a little area on the bird. So, all right. Oh, there, that's nice. Sorry, I should be showing this on screen. So I've just added a little bit of burnt umber to my Azo orange. And I've already got my green. I am going to need to add, I'm going to put a little bit of burnt umber right here because I'm going to need to mix some of that in with the green to dull it down just a little bit. But I'm actually going to bring some more of that light green in there because I do need some for leaves as well. Some sap green into here. I do have a little bit of this light green in with that sap green to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, actually, I am going to need some burnt umber for my leaves anyway, or branches in the background, so I'll just put a little bit there. Now I need to make my blue. So there's my ultramarine. And I'm going to need a fair amount because once I finish the sky, this well will become my dark, where I'll add some burnt umber to it. And then in this final well, I'm going to put a little bit of cerulean blue because I'm going to have a mixture of cerulean and all right, so I'm going to, which is exactly why I tend not to mix over my thing. Now I've splattered my page. Dang it. Eileen, are you still awake? You have not said anything yet. I don't think, or else I've missed it all. She always pouts because I don't do what she says. Unless I really like her idea. Oh, no. Oh, welcome back, Jan. by wetting it once, letting it sit for a minute, and then wetting it a second time, I find like the wetness is a little more even on your page, as long as you don't do that. Okay, so here comes the blue. I'm going to use my large silver, number 12, silver black velvet. And dang nabbit, didn't I just go like right over the stupid bird's head? Oh, Lord, lift and die, Moses. Sometimes I'm an idiot. It's way too dark. Way too dark. Okay, so I'm going to warm up the sky a little bit near the top. Though it's already a little too dark, but anyway, with a little bit of ultramarine kind of flowing in here. I need a good amount taken out here because there's a real nice bright green leaf here in this foreground, so kind of need that. still wet, so I can still kind of move it around over there a little bit here. Get a little more texture. I mean, a lot of this is going to be covered by branches and leaves, but you don't know what part's going to be seen, so because it's going to be kind of random. All right, so I need to wet this area under here again because it got a little too dry on me. Still want to follow the horizon line with your strokes here. Don't go with the branch because the sky is not going with the branch. It's going with the horizon. So there we go. Little texture. All right, now that has to completely dry before I can wet it to do the next round of the background. Start adding the trees and branches, leaves and branches, I should say, in the background. Oh no. Oh dear, Sophia. Oh, Sophia. Yuck. It's much easier to fix errors in knitting than crocheting because I know how to do it without taking out rows and rows and rows of knitting, usually. Well, depending, but. And this is going to take a while to dry because it's 100% cotton paper. But I don't want my greens to mix with my blues. I want them to lay on top as a glaze. So I need to make sure this layer is dry before I continue on. Even though I'm going to wet the entire area again, it still needs to dry. Okay, pretty well dry. I'm just going to dry what's under here because it's kind of fooling me as to what's wet and what's dry. Okay. Alrighty. I just need to check something. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Sorry, I'm just looking at, checking out the background. Okay, so I'm letting the whole sky area again, so I can in my blurry background leaves and branches first. Then I'll come back and I'll dry this and then come back and do the distance ones, or the close-up ones, detailed ones, not distance. Okay, so let's make sure this is all evenly wet so that when I go in, it's going to feather and not be nice, clear, straight lines. Okay, so put in a little bit too much green there, didn't I? Just trying to get a natural shape just by, without having to draw it, but it doesn't seem to be working very well here. There, try and fix that by just adding some darker in. Going in with a little bit of the yellow on top of that to kind of get a little more of a glow from that. Same thing here. Let's add just a little bit of the hazel yellow on top. Okay. gonna wet again. Hey, Monique. Yay, egg salad sandwich. Sounds good to me. I had some leftover pasta. I have enough pasta left over for like days, but anyway. Yeah. Now over here, I'm going to do a little more kind of a thick, bushy tree kind of thing. And then just kind of drop in little dark pieces here and there. Just kind of let it do its own thing. And same thing down here. Maybe I should have just done this over there too. Okay, so trying to decide whether I want to kind of fill it in up here the same way I did there, and I think I do. So not the whole area, but this to give me a triangle. I think I need to do a similar idea. I just think it works better than what I kind of had. I think I like that better than what was happening. Yeah, okay. So now I need to dry this. Sorry, guys. I think I need to zoom out just a smidge so I can control better where I'm working. Move you guys up a little bit. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put in. Let me put in. Oh, I know I'm not going to because I can't remember where I got this photo. I can't remember if I got it from Paint My Photo or not. So I best not display it in case. All right. So I think it's Paint My Photo, but heat gun. All right. So, Debbie, are you going to stream when I'm done? I'm going to be finished when I finish this bird, actually. So, another half hour, maybe. Oh, I do. Thank you, Debbie. I shall have to scrub that out. The tail is a little bit of green anyway, so it's actually not going to hurt. And then black, and then yellow on the tail. So, but thank you. Yes, I did. I missed drawing that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brush that kind of scrubs well. It's an acrylic brush. And it is a, what's it called? A filbert end. So the bristles are a little stiffer. They're not quite as stiff as hog's hair ones, but they're Golden Taklon cheapo ones. So they're fairly, so I'm going to go back, get a good amount of water, and scrub out that area where his tail's going to be. Luckily, it is a color that's going to go okay over that green, actually. So that's fine. It's pilling my paper a little bit, so I'm going to be careful. I don't know if it's killing the paper or if it's just the brush falling apart. Could be just the brush. There's black on his tail, and the very tail end of his tail is fairly good yellow. So the yellow is probably opaque enough to go over that, but we'll see if I can fix that well enough. Okay. Oh, okay. All righty. Welcome back, Joan. Oh, Debbie's not going to stream today. She's going to stream sometime tomorrow. Okie dokie. Oh, and of course now I ended up with a freaking bloom. Oh. And if I try and fix it, I'm probably going to make it worse. I don't like blooms. This is where I did bad brush strokes here around the bird. So I've got this silly bloom going down there. So I'm going to try. And I'm probably just going to create a bloom somewhere else by trying to get rid of it. But anyway, we'll see. Okay. So now I'm going to do a light burnt umber first in the branch as the first color, even though it's kind of more of a gray than a brown. But I'm going to start with this as my base. I'm going to go to my larger one. Need a little more over there. Get right over to his talon. Oops. Oh, gosh. All right, same thing for this one, this branch, which goes behind that branch. And there's one right down here. It's going to be darker, but I'll start with actually, I'm going to use the smaller one because it's skinnier. And I messed up there, so I'm just going to put another branch going out. Okay, so now I really want to finish. Gonna do the bark. So I need to mix a little burnt umber with my ultramarine. Get my nice gray to go over these branch areas. And I'll test it on a piece of paper here. See if it's gray enough. Not quite. A little bit more burnt umber. Should work, I think. All right, so I'm going to turn it upside down because the bottom obviously is going to be darker than the top. And it has a little bit too much of a brown tinge. Add a little bit more ultramarine. That's better. Go in with my dry brush and oh, sorry. My cousin. Okay. So my cousin is coming. We're going out for half-price appetizers at St. Louis Bar and Grill. It's a Canadian all right, and I need to do another layer of the dark underneath here while it's still wet. Just to get a little more depth from the bottom. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so I'm going in with still wet. Just trying to get a little texture into the bark. And I'm going to take a paper towel and just rip off a strip here and just try and pick up a little bit at the center to get better highlight because it got a little too dark up the middle for me. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit down the center. To help add to that rounded look. And I'm going to go in with, I don't know where my small piece of credit card is. It's not here. So I'll cut a section off this. Woo! Because I just want a narrow piece to go in while it's still wet. A little bit wet anyway. Scrape some texture into that bark. I'm not sure if I got it when it was wet enough or not. That's okay. It worked really well down here. You can see the texture in the bark didn't work as well up here because it's not quite wet enough, but we'll see if I can get some movement. It's not completely dry, so it may work its way in. What happens is the paint will fill in some of the scrapes. Okay, like that. I'm going to go in with that same dark and just go over these on one side just to, even though in the picture they're more of a kind of a silhouette, but I'm just going to darken up the one side a little bit and see what happens. I messed that up totally. Darn it. Need to mix up a little more of the dark. enough of the branches, enough of the trees. I'm going to dry it, get my bird done. Thanks, guys. Hi, Mel. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you. Now, obviously, the green and the orange are going to be a little bit of a brownish in between where it mixes, but that's exactly what happens to this bird's feathers in between the orange and the green. So I am going to wet him first. All right, so my orange. Oh, right, I was going to wet this whole thing, wasn't I? All right. Okay, so I'm going to do a very light layer first and let that sit for a couple of minutes and intermingle there. In the meantime, down below, it's not really green, it's not really orange, so I'm just going to do a very kind of pale wash here. I've mixed some green with the orange just to kind of get very pale color here. And then it goes into black. And then at the very bottom of his tail is some actually fairly bright yellow. So I'm just going to go in with that yellow at the bottom. It's fairly opaque. It'll probably need another layer. And I'll wait for the black till that dries. I need to do another layer on his. Oh, sorry. That's moving down a bit. Okay. Heat gun. Okay. I'm not a huge bird fan, so I'm very happy if they stay in the forest. So thus, I'm using it as my prompt for forest animals. Okay, so still a little damp. Heat gun again. All right, so let's do another layer of the orange and green. There's some black there, so that's why I'm not worried about being really accurate here. And I actually think I need to add in, I'm going to take some burnt umber and just add a little bit of orange to it, because there is actually a transition of like brownish here. So I'm just going to try to add that in. Clean my brush and transition the green up, transition the brown down. All right. Now I also need to add some dark. Actually, I think I'm going to use my liner brush here. Go in with my brown. So it looks like the feathers on his back are like a little darker. So I'm just going to go along there with the brown and let it blend in. And I've got a little bit of that shape right there already anyway, so I'm good with that. So I'm going to dry that because I like that. Yeah, Debbie. Well, I think I had, my cousin had a bird, a pet bird. We were visiting once and she had the cage open and he liked to swoop down and like shoosh, right in front of your face. And he was never attacking you, but it was like for someone who couldn't see and never heard him coming, he scared the living daylights out of me. Silly thing. All right, so now I'm taking my 000 detail brush, if I can find it. Here we go. And, my, hold on. My nice dark gray mix here got messed up. I actually think I'm going to use the Payne's Gray for his talons, because it's close to the blue that I used on the branch, so it should work all right. Just get some with my detail brush. And I left way too much space for his talons there, so I'm going to have to fix that. On the branch. That's okay. Got too much water on this one. All right, I'm almost done here. I just need to fix the branch here right around his talons so it doesn't kind of look quite so all right, so now for the black, I'm going to take that Payne's Gray and add some burnt umber. Oh, hold on. First, I need a little Payne's Gray on its own for the top part of his beak. And then the bottom is black. And I'm going to use my gel pen for his eye. And I have to add a little white underneath his eye there too, because I forgot to leave it. I should have all right, need to dry this. I think I might need another layer of black. And I need a little bit more of the dark down his back there. It's not quite enough. Yeah, that Payne's gray with the burnt umber makes a lovely black. I mean, so does, it's easy. You can make a nice black with it's just easier than using the ultramarine, easier to mix. All right, so I'm going to dry, actually, while I'm waiting. I'm going to take that. So it's still the orange mixed with the burnt umber, just a little more burnt umber. And then I'm going to also just go down with some Payne's gray to really try and get the dark I'm looking for here. And then just go in and there we go. That's a little better. I think that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I like that. All right, I like that. I am just going to wet the entire bird, though, so that it doesn't leave as it dries, I don't want it to leave a bloom line. So I'm just going to make sure it's all the same wetness, and then it'll dry the same. Okay. And I just need a white gel pen. Okay, I'm almost done, guys. And I am caught up. So, all right, see you, Debbie. See you, Jens. I can't use I discovered that I can use a white acrylic paint, but I think I'm just going to use my gel pen. I think I should be able to get enough white on here. If I do a couple of layers and get his eye. There's actually white feathers here, right under that black. So I might have to add a couple more layers because as that dries, the orange will come up through a little bit. But there we go. Prompt 12. Tomorrow's Eileen's favorite day, Friday the 13th. I think Eileen fell asleep on us. But anyway, thank you, everyone, unless she left and I didn't see her say goodbye. But anyway. So thank you, everyone, for coming. I got 2 prompts done today. Got caught up to my... I really like how that branch turned out, man. That's my favorite part of the whole page, the branch. Thank you, CB. Thanks, Di. Poor little, he's got a little bit of a hump on his sharp point on his back there. Let's just say his feathers are a little ruffled. Anyway, so thank you, Ian. Thanks for coming. Oh my gosh, I didn't finish his tail. Thank you, Dot. Oh my heavens to Betsy. Oh, thank you. I've got the black waiting. Oh, I need to mix more black actually. So Payne's gray. Poor bird. Didn't finish his tail. Okay. Detail brush. Gosh, I knew I was missing something. Thank you, Dot. Okay. Oh. All right, so the black goes like this to shape his tail. And I think I'm going to I'm just going to barely touch around that yellow area with the black. I don't really want you to see that the black is there. But it does kind of blend in with the background. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I think this is actually a pretty good color, but I think it needs a little texture. So I'm going to go in with just a little bit of orange here. There we go. Aha! There we go. Over here, prompt 12. Make sure it's dry. There. There we go. Thanks, everyone. See you all later. Not quite enough color in his body, but I'll leave it. I may go back and do one more layer of the orange and green, but we'll see. Thanks, everyone.